it's Sav here. In this quick video, I'm going to show you guys how to make my pulled pork, or aka slow cooked pork. Now there is some debate on whether or not you can call something slow cooked pork versus pulled pork, so I'm going to tread lightly here and just call it my slow cooked pork. My understanding is pulled pork is more when you slather on a bunch of like barbecue sauce all over the meat once you're done cooking it, I believe. I'm going to show you guys how to make the most easiest and most delicious slow cooked pork in your crock pot. So I have here my pork shoulder, aka pork butt, and I'm seasoning it with salt and pepper. You can use a pork tenderloin if you want, but I'm a butt girl, you know. I like pork butt and I cannot lie. You other brothers, I'm just kidding. So next you will need a packet of onion soup mix. We're going to take that one packet of onion soup mix and add it into some water here. And now, although I didn't show it, I did also add some soy sauce, and now I'm adding in some brown sugar. Now all that's left is just seasoning it with some black pepper. I didn't add any additional salt at all. You'll get most of the salt from the onion soup mix, and just mix all this really well and set this aside while we sear our meat. So into a hot pot, I'm going to add in some extra virgin olive oil. Now, some people will tell you that you probably don't need to sear your meat and you can just throw it into the crock pot, but I'm a firm believer in searing your meat, especially if it's going to be slow cooking for 5 to 8 hours. But that's just me. You might get the same results if you just throw it in the crock pot and just skip this part. I don't know. I haven't tried. So I put my pork in. Everything is completely dry. First of all, make sure that is dry, or else you won't get a nice brown sear to it if your meat is still wet. So just flip it over. This is all on high heat. Takes literally like a couple of minutes on all sides, and when you get to the sides, just get your tongs, and you might need to hold the meat when you get to the sides, okay? So my meat is done browning. I'm going to add it into my crock pot and add in my liquid here that I have reserved or made earlier. Just give it a nice good stir and just pour it directly on top. It's okay if bits of onion kind of just sit on the top of your pork. That's all good. And that about covers it. Just put the lid on and let it go on high for about 5 hours. But if you really have the time, then you can cook it low and slow for about 8. And voila, we are done. So this is about 5 hours later. Now what I do is after 4 hours, I get in there and I took some of the meat apart by the bigger chunks, put the lid back on and let it go for another hour. And I'm going to show you guys how fall apart tender it is. It is amazing, for real. This is like, I can eat this for days, and I eat it with rice. But my husband and my daughter prefer it as an open-faced sandwich, which is equally as delicious. And now if you want to get rid of most of the fat, I do recommend that you refrigerate the whole pot and allow the fat to harden and then scoop it out that way. This juice is amazing. I reserve some of that juice to eat with rice, and also I add it into the barbecue sauce to make a little sauce for the open-faced sandwiches, and I'll show you guys here. So I took a thick slice of French bread and I toasted it. Then I added on some cheese. My favorite is Havarti, and I melted it in the microwave for like 10 seconds. Now I'm adding on my slow cooked pork. Now the sauce I'm adding, all it is, really simple, is jarred barbecue sauce. And I mixed in some of the liquid from my slow cooked pork, because you want the sauce to kind of be thinned out. You want it to seep into the bread and into that slow cooked pork, and that's about it. Eat it as is. You can do without cheese. My daughter prefers it without cheese. My husband likes it with cheese. Add some cilantro and you're done. Hope you enjoyed.